So, this is a message for someone who's been living their life on autopilot, not really sure as to why as of now. If this is not you, then this is not your message. But if this is you and you have everything you thought you wanted and you have achieved a lot of your goals, and to the outside world you probably have it all, but yet you feel disconnected from your own life, sort of living, like I said, on autopilot, like you're just going through the motions, and you know that it's not that you're unhappy, but you're not happy either. So if that's you, this message is for you. So here's the thing. You have put a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of energy into building a life that, well, kind of a prefab life. Let's just call it that. You probably took the multiple choice approach to life. Most likely, not entirely your fault. You were probably presented with cookie cutter type options at some point. Early in your adult life, maybe even before you were an adult, maybe throughout your childhood, these were the options presented to you as multiple choice type options. You can do this, you can be that, you should do this, you should do that. And maybe you didn't have strong feelings about any of those options, but you didn't have strong feelings about any outside options either. You didn't have ideas, you didn't have inspirations. You were just sort of waiting until those would hit, but then they didn't. So you figured for the time being, until you figured out what was inspiring to you, maybe you would just do what your mom said, or what your dad said, or what the school counselor said, or what your friends were doing, or maybe what your siblings did, maybe your favorite cousin. You were just doing what you thought people you looked up to, admired, respected, trusted, any of those, were doing. And you were like, well, since I'm not sure what I want and I don't feel strongly about anything, I guess I'll just do this for now until I get clear on what I want. So fast forward whatever amount of years, and now you have a life that seems great, but you don't feel strongly about it either. Oh, so I feel for you. That's a hard position to be in. But here's the deal. This is your life. You will die. You will die. We all will die. If you don't keep that in mind, you might just not feel strongly about anything until you die. And that would be a waste. So if you've been feeling like you have everything, like it's even hard to set goals, what else do you want? If you're that kind of person that's looking around you to see what other people have, to see what goals could you set because you just don't feel strongly about anything, here's the deal. You're gonna have to get to know yourself if you want to have a life that you feel feelings about. You're gonna have to, you probably don't know yourself. You're probably just being a good citizen or not, but you're just following, you know, your to-dos, your routines, and you're fulfilling the obligations that you've gotten yourself involved in to build this life that by all accounts seems great, and that by all accounts, I mean, I'm sure if you're this person, you're probably, ways to know if this message is for you. Okay. So whenever you do something, you're more excited about telling people about it than you are about doing it. Now, you're going to have to be real with yourself if you want to figure out how to get out of this. So this is something only you know. This is something extremely private that only you know. Are you that person that's more excited about your social media posts, about your trip, than you are when you're there in the trip? Are you on your phone organizing your photos? Or are you engaging with the environment? If you have trouble engaging with your environment, whatever environment you find yourself in, but especially environments you went way out of your way to get into, special events, environments that you go way out of your way to go into, to get into, you wait, months, you travel, you pay, and you get there, and the best part of the event is sort of documenting it and sharing it and getting reactions from your circle. If that's you, only you know that. Only you know that. Because it could appear like that to others, and at the end of the day, only you know if you're actually more excited about the actual experience. Only you know that. But if you find yourself, if you're already this along in the video, maybe this message is for you. You have found yourself to be zombie mode. You have found yourself to be going through the motions. You have found yourself not enjoying your life, but yet feeling ashamed. Because you look at your life and you're like, shit, it's pretty good. And God forbid you look anywhere, tough in the world. You're like, oh my God, how do I dare not be happy, right? So then maybe you force yourself to pretend to be happy, maybe in a picture so you can show people. If that's you and you want to get out of this, it's gonna take a complete change of gears. So I guess this is a message for you that it is possible. It is possible, but you need radical honesty with yourself. And you need to actually give yourself the time and attention and energy that you give these things, these activities, this thing, whatever you do. You have to put yourself in some radical, honest conversations with yourself, high enough on your priority list that they will happen, whether they're uncomfortable, whether they suck, whether they make you depressed. They might make you depressed, okay? Oftentimes, if you find yourself in this position of being zombie mode, it's because you're fucking depressed. But you don't want to face it because it's too much work. So you're like in a low-grade depression, just sort of coping. You probably, probably have a number of coping mechanisms that are doing no real good, and you probably know that. But yeah, you're in sleep mode. Thing is, time waits for no one. This is your life. The clock is ticking. There are no infinite summers in your life. There's a finite amount of summers in your life. So if you have felt trapped in your own facade of everything is hunky-dory, if you have found yourself lost in the worldly pursuits, and you just like don't even know. If you have found yourself lost in worldly pursuits that were not personal to you, because you never felt strongly enough about anything to create your own path, and you were just waiting for inspiration to hit you, it's not going to come. This message is to tell you that inspiration will not hit. Your life will pass you by in this horrible zombie mode you find yourself in if you allow it to. If you have built a good life for yourself because it's been possible for you, you are a blessed person and you have the opportunity to make your life count and to have a meaningful life experience, which not everyone gets that. If you're born in war zone, you don't get that. If you're born in deep poverty, you probably don't get that, okay? Or it's a lot harder to achieve it. There's a million, if you're born sick, you don't get that, okay? So the fact that you have built a good enough life that you look at it and you go, oh, I shouldn't complain. Oh, I should pretend I'm happy. It means it's possible for you to build a life you're actually happy about. You're actually, you feel strongly about. That's what I want to say instead of happy. Happiness is transitionary like every other feeling. You will have moments of happiness if you live a good life and you're able to appreciate it, but it won't be a constant emotion. But you can have a meaningful life of growth, a life that you will feel deeply and be engaged in. But it's not gonna just happen. It's not just gonna happen at all. It won't just, one day things won't just change. You will have to decide, today is the day that things change. And this message is for you. If you've been sort of just waiting in autopilot mode for something to shake you out of it. I guess maybe if you allow it, this video will shake you out of it. It should shake you into confronting yourself, which depending on the culture you come from, it might be very, very uncomfortable. But similarly to anything worth it, if you face the discomfort and you do the work, it will be absolutely worth it. And, you know, it's a very easy, I mean, it's going to be difficult, but it's an easy way to start. You start by sort of putting your foot down and facing your emotions. If you feel dull and like nothing excites you and you've just been pretending, you have that real conversation with you better in the mirror, which might be hard for some people. But if it's hard, it's more reason that you need to do it in the mirror. You need to face yourself and be like, so what the fuck is your issue? Like, be confrontational and deal with it. Look inside yourself. If you be honest with your feelings, like I said before, radical honesty will be necessary. And then you need to embrace those emotions, even if they suck. Even if you don't like at all the conclusions you get to, which you probably will not, to be honest, because if this video is for you, you've been hiding from yourself. And yeah, you could go back and look back and try and figure out when this started for you, and it might be helpful, but you don't have to do that. You can start right now by saying, I'm done hiding. What the fuck is up with me? How do I feel? And then sit in those feelings. Let them lead you somewhere. If you're not uncomfortable in one place, then you won't get up and leave to move to another place. If you don't belong in whatever position you're in your life, it's only through feeling that discomfort that you will get to a different position in life. You have to allow your feelings that naturally occur within you to motivate you into the right actions. Trust that they will. Nature this is a natural process in all living beings, including plants. They go towards the sun. What they don't have is the problem of pretending to themselves they're not feeling the heat or the cold or the shade or the sun Oh, I don't feel nothing. You know, like, yeah, there could be a level of value to figuring out why you're doing that. And honestly, if you want to really get to the life you're supposed to be living, you will have to do that work, but you don't have to do it all right away. You can start right now by facing yourself, being radically honest, prioritizing your emotions, allowing yourself to feel them, and start to get to know yourself through getting to know your feelings and sitting with them. Let conclusions come to you based on your feelings. Follow your emotional guidance system rather than looking around you for guidance. You're a full human being, which means you have your own GPS. Your feelings are here to guide you. Don't let them take you over, but feel them fully so they can guide you in a direction of well-being. Have a good one.